I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the April 1st, 2019 edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. Today, we're going to look at Mark chapter 6. Yesterday in my adult Sunday school class, I was talking to them about one of the biggest fears that human beings have. This is a fear that holds us back from doing things that we want to pursue. It can hold us back from pursuing dreams, businesses, great opportunities in our career and professional lives. It can prevent us from maybe asking out that seemingly unattainable person that we're so fascinated by. It can prevent us from reaching out and doing all kind of things. What is it? It is one of the number one fears of the human species, and that is the fear of rejection. It shouldn't surprise us that since the Bible speaks to every human condition, this is addressed as well. And specifically, it's addressed in Mark chapter 6, both in the way Jesus dealt with rejection and also the way he taught his disciples to deal with it. We're told in chapters 3, 4, and 5 of Mark that Jesus went from town to town doing miracles, doing healings, feeding people, and preaching in a way that was phenomenal. People had never heard someone speak with such innate authority. They were just blown away and astonished by how he spoke and what he said. And yet, when he went home to Nazareth, to his own hometown, the people were astonished. Yes, they recognized he was doing healings, miracles. They recognized the authority and wisdom of his teaching. And yet, it says that they were very upset. They were appalled, not in a good way. They didn't like it that this person that they had seen grow up and should have been able to testify better than anybody else that he really was what he appeared to be, because he had been the perfect child, the perfect teenager, the perfect young man in business, owning a business as a carpenter from the age of 18 to 30. Can you imagine the testimony, the ambassadors, the validation that these people could have been for Jesus? And yet they were jealous and they were put off by the fact that somebody in their midst could be like this. And so because of their disbelief, Jesus did not do very many miracles. Their disbelief worked against them because Jesus left Nazareth. He didn't stay and beat his head against a wall. He just went on to other villages. He didn't bring down curses on his hometown and tell them how stupid they were. He just went like a gentleman to somewhere where he was wanted and where he was welcomed. Now, right after we're told that in Mark 6, we're also told that he started sending out his disciples 2 at a time. He gave them authority to speak, to preach, and to work miracles. And he told them something very interesting. He said, if you go into a village that will not receive your message, simply leave. He tells them to shake the dust off their sandals and go elsewhere. Now, you may hear that, shake the dust off your sandals, and think that, goodness, and think that was a very nasty kind of negative thing, like, and to where with you all. If you don't accept the message, well, we're done with you. But it turns out that it didn't have that connotation. It was simply a statement of fact, of separation, that you were not going to abide in a place. You weren't going to stay there. You were moving on. That's really all it meant. It wasn't that you were casting damnation on the city or telling them off in any way. It was simply your way of saying, and now I'm moving on. We should not fear rejection, especially when we are ambassadors of Christ, when we are bringing the good news. Our job is not in the results, it's in the effort. We are responsible for the effort. God is responsible for the results. And He will have those people be brought into the kingdom on His time schedule, when and who and where He desires, regardless of our efforts. We are responsible for the efforts, but we're also, I think, told, and we're shown by the example of Christ and also by what He told His disciples, that there are so many people who need to hear the gospel. We should be very liberal in our teaching and preaching and life evangelism. And always remember that while one person may not receive, at least not right now, the good news that we have to offer, there are other people who do. Let us go where those people are waiting with bated breath to hear the good news. Do not fear rejection. For remember, it is not you that is being rejected. It is simply the good news. And it may be that it's not being rejected forever. It may be that someone else will come along. You may be the seed, someone else may water it, and yet someone else in the kingdom may be the one who will actually get to see it take root and sprout. I'm J. Lenora Bressler, urging you not to worry about rejection. Move forward, for down the road, there is going to be acceptance. I hope you'll join me on the next edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. Have a great day.